started it whenever you...
Hi, I'm Richie Cutie. I'm here with Texans offensive lineman Kendall Lamm.
Pleasure to be here.
How are you today?
Pretty good. It's a beautiful day. 77 degrees in February here is unheard of. So it's nice. As you can see what I've got on, I'm enjoying it.
So, playing, we're here at Butler. Used to
Sure.
play here. Obviously, varsity, very great player, getting to go to App State. Also going to Crestdale Middle School. I want to know, with Coach Cambruzzi and Coach Hales, how have they kind of shaped you into the sort of player that you are today?
I mean, it's fitting that we're doing this interview right here. Of course, as soon as I got back, as soon as the season ended, I come back and I touch base with my family. But I went to Crestdale. I always go see Mr. Cambruzzi. He's the one who kind of showed me that offensive line could be something that I could possibly pursue later in life. And because up until that point, I was a defensive end my entire life. So to kind of transition, and I credit him for showing me that side of the ball more and more. I was always bigger, but I enjoyed defense way more. So he kind of started the initial spark there, and then I got here, of course, and Coach Hales was the O-line coach at the time. And it's different every time I come back and I see he's the head coach here. It plays with my mind. But Coach Hales pushed us, and the things that I did out here on this field, I actually haven't sat here and looked and been in this atmosphere like this in a while. It's you can remember different things that happened out here, so it's very fitting. Yes, sir.
I want to go to the this year in Houston, getting your first 13 starts.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in probably not the way you wanted to with the injury.
Right.
But that team kind of started off really slow,
For sure.
0-3, and then got on a huge win streak. Made it to the playoffs. A devastating loss to the Colts. I want to get your take. Did you, off the 0-3 start, did you guys feel like, oh crap, we got to pick this up? Or was it just like, if we keep this going, maybe we'll light a spark and we'll get there?
It's always a sense of urgency in whatever you do, especially in the NFL, because things move like this. You have to game plan. You have to get ready for. As soon as the game's over, on the plane home, I go through the film and we start watching everybody else. So it's like that happens from time to time. And of course, for the first 3 losses, I was practicing at the time. I wasn't technically in playing, but we never, in my opinion, lost focus within our locker room, within our building, within our organization. Because if I'm not mistaken, we lost those 3 games by 5, no more than 7 points each game. They could have really swung our way. So that's kind of. It's hard enough to win games in the NFL. I'm gonna be completely real with you. It's very, very hard. So you take it with a grain of salt. There's gonna be ups and downs at all times, but as long as you control what you can control, things hopefully will swing your way.
Now, Deshaun Watson had a great rookie year.
Right.
Devastating injury with the ACL tear. Him coming back in this year, and you having your first few starts this year. Were you at all nervous or worried that if you messed up and the defensive end maybe hit him the wrong way, that could have happened again?
The game that we play is a very violent game. There's going to be injuries that happen. From my standpoint, that's how I got in the game at right tackle. You hate to see Centrell, one of my teammates, one of my linemen, go down, but it's a part of the game. But at the same time, I play offensive line. I take it very seriously to allow him to be comfortable in the pocket. And at the same time, I know Deshaun's a competitor. He's going to, he knows his body better than anybody else. But it's our job to, make his day as easy as possible back there. And I knew, he wouldn't be out there unless he was comfortable. So, we just try to do what we can.
Now, young NFL career.
For sure.
Again, with the first few starts this year.
Right.
Playing some really good teams, or very good defensive teams, and all around great pass rushing teams. I want to know, who is the best defensive player you've had to block?
It would be. It's hard for me to answer that because the way my mind works and the way I see football and the way I dissect rushers would be completely different than how you and everybody else sees it. People fail to realize, people wouldn't understand that this is our lives, but my job is to dissect each pass rusher each and every day because, it's a passing league. I would say if I had to pinpoint one, of course, you know Devon Miller. Devon Miller is he's Von. DeMarcus Lawrence is very good, but he's also a different rusher. He's a power rusher, wants to get into you and disengage and try to get you off balance. So I mean, the person that I would think is the hardest would be completely different from somebody else because it all depends on our skill set. But for me, I'll tell you one who's going to be very, very good when he learns a few more moves. He is going to be phenomenal. It's Myles Garrett for Cleveland. He is going to be the truth because he's got so much God-given talent, God-given strength, and he's so fast coming off the ball. When he gets a few more moves in his arsenal, he'll be very, very good.
Especially with him coming from Texas A&M, where
Exactly.
Von Miller came from,
Yep.
same defensive
Yes, sir.
coach. Yeah, that'll probably be.
Oh, no doubt. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen soon, too.
And free agent this year.
Right.
Is there any team that you would like to play for specifically?
No, not really. From my standpoint, it's just I tell people all the time. When I graduated here in 2010, it's 2019, and I'm still playing football. It's been a blessing, man. Like I tell the guys, I come back and talk to Anthony, the right tackle from here. Talk to the O-line all the time. I was like, if you get the opportunity to play after high school, you've done so much that some people will never get the opportunity to do. And I've been fortunate and blessed to be going in my 5th season in the NFL. When I first got there, you only get 1 to 2, especially being undrafted. You don't get many. So just the fact, I try to keep it in perspective because we're playing a young man's sport. We're playing a young boy's sport. And, I mean, I'm doing it at the highest level. So if any team gave me the opportunity to continue to play, I'll be very, very grateful. Houston's been amazing. It'd be nice to go back, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be in God's plan.
And I want to follow up with that with being an undrafted free agent.
Right.
Back in the day, I don't know if you really would know this, but not a lot of undrafted free agents. Maybe the exception with Kurt Warner. Now, today, you see a lot of undrafted free agents like playing really well, getting Pro Bowl selections. One that I know is Philip Lindsay, playing very well this year. Do you think it's kind of opened up for undrafted free agents? Do you think it's made it easier, or is it always just the same level of, you got to push yourself to get on the team?
So, regardless if you're the first round pick or you're an undrafted free agent, you're always going to have to push yourself in some aspect. Now, everybody's journey is going to be different based off of, if you were the first round pick, the team's got more invested in you. They use that pick on you for the most part, and I know a lot of people know in the NFL it's a money business. They invested more money into you. So, I mean, you're a bigger investment. But at the same time, I've come in and seen second, third rounders get cut the next year. So it's like if you don't take your craft and everything very seriously, and if you don't continue to progress and produce, then it's not really going to work out. But to answer your question, Donald Penn, he comes to mind for me. He's a tackle for the Raiders. He was undrafted. Jason Peters was undrafted. Arian Foster was undrafted. And these are some people who have had phenomenal careers and have been at the best of their craft. So, it just goes to show, just because at a certain time in your life people saw you in this type of light doesn't mean that you can't change and, put the time in and get what you want. So it's definitely, I feel like they've definitely opened the doors for us, but, I mean, it's on us to keep that going.
Now, obviously a very great career collegiately and through high school and middle school even.
Right.
Racking up a lot of awards. Obviously at App State winning a few awards. I think it was Sun Belt Conference All-Team. I want to know, what was your greatest award, or not even just award that you got, but just accomplishment in your life?
It would be for sure winning the state title here. It was the first one in school history. We went undefeated that year. It was, I tell people all the time, it's nice in my life to try to, in my opinion, the way I view things, we have different chapters in our lives. You just do. And I've always been the type of person, I want to close the door on the chapter the right way. And, high school is a very important time in people's lives. You learn so much about yourself. That's really the last time you're around the people you grew up with before you all go different ways. And just my ability to, enjoy this field, win all the games we did out here, especially my senior year, and then go to NC State and beat a very talented Jack Britt team out of Fayetteville. And we won that game pretty handily. It's something like, I have my Butler jersey hanging in my room. I've got my state championship ring right there with it. I've still got all my stuff, my memorabilia from Butler. So when the time comes in my house, I'll display that with pride. because I mean this is the first time that we ever had one here, and my name will always be linked to that. So I feel like that team and just coming from this town and everything really taught me my work ethic and how I do things, and I hold it near and dear.
I want to switch it to a more personal
Cool.
kind of question. Your grandmother,
Right.
very big influence on your life, basically raised you.
Oh, she did.
And I want to know, how has she really helped you through the ups and the downs in your career, and even in just like mainly all the doubts that you've had?
For sure. I mean, she just retired at age 70. I mean that speaks for itself. My grandmother gets up every day, no matter what's put in front of her. Handles her job, handles her business, doesn't complain. I never once I can remember in life heard her complain through my 26 years of life, especially me being my 18 years that I lived in the house with them. She set the tone. I mean, she showed me what it is. She showed me what it is to be an older person. She showed me what it is to be in her 30s and 40s. Like, I just learned so much from her and how to live life that it's, in my opinion, she set the foundation for me. She did. And of course, she's been going through dealing with cancer and everything. And I haven't seen, like, you would never know. Like, when I tell people that, or when they find out, you would never know, because nothing will ever break my grandmother's spirit. I mean, she's going to be who she is regardless. And that's something that I've always held near and dear, because regardless of, well, he's to this and he's to that and he's not going to be able, like, none of the outside really matters to me, because for me, it's more about proving what I know and myself right. And I really could care less about what you got to say. I mean, that's just the approach I've always taken. So.
Now, I know it's a long way away, 26, very young, especially for the NFL. But you got to think, a career's not going to last forever.
For sure.
With retirement, would you want to get into coaching?